Aries.
Hello Aries, this is your New Year forecast for 2014 for the entire year. What can you expect from 2014? Right off the bat, I can say that it is definitely going to be a year of transformation because when we take all the planets here top of the year, there may be many ways to do it. We all have our different styles, but for me, it's a blueprint of what is going to take place here in the entire year. And we're looking at Pluto being very prominent here this year, so it's definitely going to be a pivotal point of transformation of consciousness for you. And for Aries here, your Pluto is in the sign of career, so you should be seeing that this year, 2014, is definitely going to be turning things around for you, or even start you off on new beginnings. Okay, so you might have been experiencing here in 2013 and 12 a little bit of the upheaval that has been. Uranus has been shaking your grounds there for a while, and only for a higher purpose though. It may not always feel that way, but Uranus is always looking out for higher good, and it is wanting now for you to bring forward these talents that you have, to bring them out to a new proportional skill, and you will know exactly what that is by the end of this year. Now we have three major phases here. We have one just kind of concluding itself here at the end of 2013. But in 2014, we will have two more rounds and touches between Uranus and Pluto. And that will be here on March 12th to May 24th and November 4th to April 25th of 2015. So you can feel them as they kind of come up to the aspect itself, but then it's going to be live there in the period that it's going to be working. And then it will conclude there in April of 2015. So for you, this is going to be shaking your grounds here between the 1st and the 10th house. First house is where you have Uranus. This is you being changed now, altered, so to speak, or shedding, liberating from old ways, getting out of that old rut and renewing yourself here, and the way you present yourself out to the world. That is what the first house is all about. That's what they see when they meet you, and they'll go, whoa, you've changed, and first house could also be your appearance, the way you present yourself. It may be the way you feel about yourself as well. And as Pluto kicks in that 10th house, yes, it may get a little shaky while it's at work, but once that really starts moving into and you're embodying this, well, that also is going to be presenting you out to the world in a new way, because Pluto is also the magician. Yes, it's the destroyer of the old. We got to think about those volcanoes, right? And Uranus as the earthquakes. But once that chaos is out, you are coming out as a new, excuse me, radiant and shining being. And Pluto here will give you a whole good sense of not just confidence, but skill, know-how, drive, leadership. So actually you're taking the elevator up, okay? But before you can get up there, the old has to leave. Sometimes we're not always comfortable leaving out of our comfort zone, right? So the universe kind of helps us, giving us a little smack to get going. And once you're there, trust me here, Aries, you are going to love it. Why? Well, you are a fire sign. You're ruled by Mars. Mars is action, drive, ambition, getting where you want to go, right? That's your future and the horizon which you always target. Well, Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, so you're one to be quite equipped with knowing how to deal with these very strong, powerful energies. We're doing now here for 2014, I'm going to follow the transit of Mars, because this is what is really going to show you the actions throughout the year. The other planets, they will come and go, and we'll follow those on a month-to-month basis in future videos. But for right now, see, Mars takes 2 years to complete the scope once, okay? So within a year, normally it's like a half turn. The thing is with Mars, as mentioned, it's going to have a very long transit here in the sign of Libra. We're going to be there for 7 months. Normally it's 6 weeks. We're talking 7 months in one area. So for you, your Mars, it's going to start off here with relationships. This is where you're going to be out in July. And so it's not just love and relationships, which it definitely can and will be, Aries, but it's also how you relate to people one-on-one. Okay, this is your ruler now in this area of partnerships or committed partnerships, and you working it. So you want to make sure that whatever it is you communicate, how you share, that yes, it is point specific. You like that. You're not the most impatient person, right? Aries like to get things done. But here, as it's including the other, and in the sign of Libra, it's all about balance. It's the scales. So you want to make sure, and you may see that you'll get tested from time to time, how are you balancing this the best without pushing it too quickly? Because not all people in the zodiac is as quick as you are to act and react, right? So we got to give a little slack here, just for them to catch up with you, balance here with you. That's when you will obtain and master harmony in this area. And that harmony which you harvest here after this period, you can take that with you, for long term. If you're going to start seeing that you're being challenged and you're wondering what's up with them, take a little look here at how can you rebalance this by stepping back a little bit, giving a little bit more space to them, and you will see that the scales will harmonize, and then you can get your objectives through in a beautiful, beautiful way. Now, this is until July of 24th, and then when we get in there, we have Mars moving into your 8th house of shared resources, joint ventures, financial partnerships, JVs. It could be your bank and insurance companies, anything that has to do with other people's money, not necessarily your own income. That's the 2nd house, but money that you also can receive perhaps in ways of royalties and commissions too. Now, it's going to be in this area from July 24th to September 14th. So that's going to be an area where you're going to dip into and see how you can improve this, lift it up, perhaps lift the bar higher. Or also there could be some disputes depending on what kind of transits are going to be beaming onto Mars when we get to that time, which we will see in the coming months. Then as Mars progresses, it's going to move out of this 8th house, which by the way also is the house of intimacy and sex. So you might see how this is also going to be more so highlighted for you at this time. But then from September 14th, Mars is moving into your 9th house of higher education. It's also you perhaps wanting to travel somewhat more, or how you're going to be interacting with foreign people and places. Mars right here is going to want to shine light on how you think on the higher concepts of life, more the philosophical touch of life. Whereas the 3rd house is knowledge and insight, news, more on the superficial level. The 9th house wants to know. It's all about knowing. How can I know? So Mars is really going to be pinpointing its energy until October 27th here in this area. And so if you're going to be traveling, it should be a very good time for you to get out and about and meet new people, foreign places, people, cultures, foods, all of those good things, right? So from October 27th and throughout here to December 4th, we have Mars now tuning into your career house. Now, Pluto's already there, so you already have that power going on. Now, Mars is going to come in and kick that into action. So we're going to see how things are really going to start coming together there. And as we know that from the top of the year, your natal chart for 2014, if we can say it, well, that's already smacked full. You have the Sun, you have the new moon, you got Pluto, you got Mercury and Venus retrograde, all sitting up there waiting, even though they have moved way beyond when we get to December. But the natal chart of 2014 for you is there. Mars is going to come in and touch upon all of these planets here, where they were here at the top of the year 2014. This is at the end of the year. They've been laying in the background working for you, and now it's all catching up, and you will see how the synergy is going to come together, wrap things up very powerfully here at the end of 2014. Then from December 4th throughout the rest of the year, Mars has then left your career house and then into the 11th house of social activity. You catching up with friends, you probably need it because it's been extremely busy there at the latter part of the year. And yeah, groups, organizations, social media, hopes, dreams, wishes. It's time where you're just releasing and freeing up a lot of energy and now doing those things are a little bit more leisurely perhaps, or on volunteer basis. Some of you might just volunteer some of your time here when we get closer to the holidays, so that may be it. But then we can conclude that Mars has journeyed from your 7th to the 11th house throughout the entire year. So it's on above the horizon. It's in the busy part of your chart. You're going to be out there, Aries. You're going to be shining. You're going to be radiant. You're going to be doing. You're going to be active. So 2014 in many ways is going to be an exceptional year. And I think perhaps even a year that, you know, in the years to come, looking back, you can say, well, 2014, that was the year I turned the corner. That's when I flipped the switch. And we can thank some of this here to that Uranus-Pluto that's here in your 1st and 10th house. Now, the last of these squares are going to come in 2015. They've been active now since 2011. Long term, these squares, we've had several squares. So you're nearly coming out of it, but you will start feeling it because you've already gone through several of them. So you'll know exactly what we're talking about. So exciting for you, 2014 Aries. Enjoy, and once again, Happy New Year. You can listen to your moon and rising sign also for the New Year scopes as well. And by all means, remember to subscribe so you can get your video in your inbox for next month. I'll see you then.